So let's talk about a programming language that was built on a pretty radical idea. What if the main goal wasn't just about making the computer run faster, but about making the programmer happier? Yeah, you heard that right. This is the story of Ruby. See, to really get Ruby, you got to go back to the early 90s. A programmer named Yukihiro Matsumoto, who everyone just calls Mats, was on the hunt for the perfect scripting language. And as you can see from this quote, he was not impressed. The options out there just didn't feel right to him. Something was always a little off. Something fundamental was missing. So what did he do? Well, he built his own. And this is it. Ruby. It was designed from the very beginning to be simple, to make you productive, and honestly, to just feel good to write. The whole point wasn't just to give commands to a machine. It was to create a tool that felt natural for a human being. And that really gets us to the origin story. Ruby wasn't cooked up in some giant corporate lab. Nope, it was born from one single programmer's personal mission to find a better way to code. Mats's motivation was, deeply personal. He wanted a language that he would actually enjoy using all day, every day. He was tired of having to twist his brain to think like a computer. He wanted a language that would bend to the way he thought. He couldn't find one, so in 1993, he just started building it himself. And this personal mission led to a philosophy that really sets Ruby apart from almost everything else. It boils down to this: programming with joy. And wow, this quote from him just says it all, doesn't it? The core idea is that the computers, the machines, they should work for us, not the other way around. The language should be a tool that makes the developer feel powerful, a tool that cuts down on frustration and dials up the happiness. And this really highlights the huge difference in philosophy. Most languages are born from questions about the machine. How fast is it? How efficient is it? But Ruby just flips that whole script. It optimizes for the developer, asking totally different questions. How productive am I? Am I actually enjoying this process? Am I happy? Okay, so how does this programmer happiness idea actually show up in the code? Well, for one thing, in Ruby, everything is an object, even a simple number. This makes the language super consistent. Its syntax is clean. It reads almost like plain English. It's also dynamically typed, which is just a fancy way of saying you can build stuff really fast without the computer yelling at you about rules all the time. It all serves that final, most important principle. It's designed to be fun. For a long time, Ruby was this kind of cool niche language that programmers who knew it loved it, but it wasn't exactly mainstream. And then, in the mid-2000s, everything changed. It was time for the Rails revolution. You can kind of see the slow burn here on the timeline. The language was around for about a decade, slowly getting more popular. But 2005, that was the year the rocket took off. The release of Ruby on Rails wasn't just another update. It was a genuine explosion in the programming world. So Ruby on Rails, or just Rails as everyone calls it, became Ruby's killer app. It was a framework that made building really powerful, complex websites unbelievably fast. All of a sudden, projects that would have taken weeks in other languages could be prototyped in a weekend with Rails. It was a total game changer. And hey, the proof is in the pudding. This programmer-friendly approach ended up powering some of the absolute biggest names on the internet. I mean, look at this list. GitHub, Shopify, Airbnb, Twitch. We are not talking about small side projects here. These are massive platforms, all built on the speed and, yes, the joy that Ruby and Rails offered. But Rails, as huge as it is really just the tip of the iceberg. There's a whole massive ecosystem that's grown up around the language. Let's take a look. So right at the heart of this whole ecosystem is something called Ruby Gems. The best way to think about it is like an app store, but for developers. If you need your code to do something specific, like, process credit card payments or resize images, chances are someone has already built it, packaged it into something called a gem, and you can install it with just one line of code. And we're talking about a huge library here. There are over 100,000 of these gems available. It's like having a whole army of developers who've already solved most of your problems for you. It's an incredible productivity booster and shows just how mature and collaborative the Ruby community is. So this whole ecosystem gives you a really complete and solid set of tools. For building websites, you have the big one, Rails. Or if you need something a bit lighter, there's Sinatra. You've got industry standard tools for testing your code like RSpec. And the whole thing is managed by that central hub we just talked about, Ruby Gems. All right, so where does Ruby go from here?
For a language that's literally built on the idea of programmer happiness, what's next? Well, it's definitely not standing still. It's evolving.
One of the biggest things in recent years has been tackling performance head on. The Ruby 3x3 initiative was this incredibly ambitious goal to make the third version of Ruby 3 times faster than the second. This was a direct answer to one of the oldest criticisms of the language, and it proved that you can have both programmer happiness and machine speed. And they're pulling this off with some seriously impressive tech. Things called just-in-time compilers, or JITs, basically act like a turbocharger for your code. A new feature called Ractor lets your program do multiple things at the exact same time, in true parallel. And other tools are being added to help you catch bugs early without sacrificing that flexibility that makes Ruby so great to work with in the first place. But it's cool, because even with all this new, complex technology being added, the mission, the original reason for Ruby's existence, hasn't changed one bit. This quote from Matz just brings it all right back home. The ultimate goal, through every single update, is to help programmers be productive, enjoy what they do, and, well, be happy. And that kind of leaves us with one last thought to chew on. As things like automation and AI start to take over more and more of the boring, machine-like tasks in programming, maybe a language that's designed to prioritize the human experience, things like creativity, productivity, and joy, isn't just a nice little idea anymore. Maybe it's more important than ever. What do you think?